This video is sponsored by Stereo.
Our show's in stereo. The baby's asleep, so listen close. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Where's the show on stereo?
Better. Still don't feel sexy. Sexiness is a state of mind and not so much about how you look. I'm looking to open up a dialogue here. I would really like to connect with other people maybe who feel the same, and also just share and maybe provide a little bit of a heads up for people who are expecting babies. Look, I get that it doesn't really make much biological sense to feel super sexy after giving birth, because, you know, you've just created and you're now sustaining a brand new human being. If your brain and your hormones were driving you to procreate again so soon after doing it, your body would be like, how dare you? And your baby would be like, mommy, what about me? So I get it, but it's kind of hit me square in the non-existent balls. Like, my sense of self has shifted a bit, and you know, I've always felt like my sexual side was quite a strong part of my identity, and just how I viewed myself and how I related with the world, with my husband. Like, apparently now, according to this poll, an average of 18 months will go by before a new mother will feel sexy again, and I'm not having that. So this video is just an unplanned out, unfiltered chat, because I haven't made any videos on the topic of sex or sexuality in quite a long time, and I know that's why a lot of you have subscribed to me on the subject of unfiltered chats. If you would like to hear my husband and I chat unfiltered about all things relationships, being new parents, all that kind of stuff, and even better, if you'd like to chat with us like we're on a phone call where you can send us voice messages and we can talk back to you and answer your questions, please follow me on the Stereo app.
Since you're a YouTuber and this time of your life is kind of vulnerable, you know, you're not getting much sleep and you have a new baby and a lot's going on in the world, is it ever hard
to do that? It's not like I'm like, oh, I have such a compulsion to go over and kiss my husband right now. Like, you know, I don't get that very much because my head is so scatterbrained with so much work and the baby and just like life stuff, mental health stuff. But I try and just go over and like, well, look, if I do this, I know he'll like how it feels, and I'll feel better as soon as I'm hugging him, because it feels good. Like, humans are supposed to touch each other.
You just completely take them for granted. They'll literally just they'll become a part of the wall if you let them.
My husband and I were really keen to do a podcast, and with the pandemic and being in lockdown and also having a new baby, it didn't really make sense to go to a podcast studio and invest in all sorts of like fancy equipment and everything like that. We're limited on time. We need to stay at home. But this app Stereo, it's not just about podcasting and making that super accessible to anyone. That is what it does, but it also just facilitates conversations between all kinds of people from around the globe. And it's an app for adults, so if you're over 18, do sign up and please follow me on there. I'm Melanie Murphy on it, and we've done 2 shows so far. The first was all about romantic life in a pandemic, like with a new baby. We talked about how alcohol affected our relationship and how we improved our communication as a couple, and it's live chats, so there's no editing, and you can listen back to them once they're uploaded as well. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, you missed any of that. I'll link my Stereo down below. Apparently it's going to be the next big thing. There's a lot of YouTubers and celebrities and stuff using it, and I am so pumped to finally have a way to connect with you that isn't just like text based, because it's so much easier to talk to people when there's tone. I feel like with text, like on Twitter and stuff, there's tone missing. And yeah, we intend on continuing to do 1 or 2 shows a week. The more of you tune in and engage, the more we will do them. So yeah, cheers to Stereo for working with this exhausted new mother. She be appreciating the excuse to reconnect with her husband, because it's kind of like Thomas and I get to have a date. We both have to be in separate rooms to talk because you're using your phone, and otherwise like our voices would be cross, destroying the conversation. But yeah, because it's a job, I have to make time for it, so it actually forces me to fit in time with him, and it's helping us to reconnect because we're really talking, you know. We're not just going, did the baby poo yet? What did his poo look like? How did it smell? Let me preface everything I'm about to say with having my son is the best thing I've ever done. I am obsessed with him. I adore every little inch of his beautiful, squishy, pale body, and his soul is so pure. It's just my favourite thing, and I love this path in life. I love being a mother. I'm dying to do it again. And bringing him into our lives, like, it was so euphoric. But the euphoria is about the only part of it all that feels good. There's so many parts of like the post-baby period that make me feel quite lousy. Don't get me wrong, I feel so full of purpose, and even stuff like my body image, I have come to love and admire my body in a way that I never did before, and that is both an amazing thing and then in terms of the sexiness, like a bad thing. I see my body as very functional now. First of all, when you give birth, and especially if you're breastfeeding, your estrogen levels are really low and your prolactin is really high. And according to various OBGYNs who I've watched interviews with online, I've read stuff from them and listened to talks and all, it's a cocktail for a low sex drive, and it's just libido crushing, completely libido crushing. And after you have a baby, you're just so exhausted all the time because you're sleeping an awful lot less. You know, you're sleeping in 1 or 2 hour blocks at a time. Sometimes you might get a lucky night or two where you get a bunch of hours in a row. We are starting to get more sleep now, which is why I'm working on bringing back my old self a little bit harder now than I was. I just, for the first few months, I was just like, oh, I'm not even going to concern myself with worrying about that, you know, because there's more important things. The baby. Having a child is such a huge mental and physical adjustment. It makes complete sense that, you know, on fire sex life goes down the priority list a bit temporarily, and that's fine. Like, we shouldn't pressure ourselves or feel bad about that or anything, and that, because that's not even what I'm talking about here. I'm just talking about feeling myself, you know, like just the sexual confidence isn't there, and you know, to have that doesn't necessarily have anything to do with how much or how little sex you're having. The main reasons I think I don't feel very sexy right now, like I said, my body feels like it's on loan. I feel like my body exists right now for my baby. Like my hips have widened a bit, and I've noticed that, oh yeah, it's great to carry my son on those. Makes it a lot easier to carry him around the house. I don't break my back as much by plopping him on there. My boobs, they're his dinner. They're for him. I look at them and there's just lots of veins, and my nipples are a different thing altogether. Like, I've lost a lot of sensitivity in them, and I do read online like that it comes back. If you've experienced with this, I know it's very personal and stuff, but we have to be able to talk about this stuff. Like, we all have a body. Even men have nipples. Like, it shouldn't be an embarrassing topic. I really believe we need to be able to talk about this stuff openly, and I guess I wish I'd watched more women talk about this kind of thing, and then it wouldn't have hit me as hard. It wouldn't have been such a shock to just suddenly not feel like myself. But yeah, so there's that with the chesticle area, and then downstairs, vulva, vagina, that whole area, I keep thinking of it as the birth canal and not, how would I describe, like just that. I don't have that association right now at all. The couple of times I've had a chance to actually watch some pornography and I've looked at other women's and seen it in that way, it's like I'm looking at it and thinking, I don't have one of those anymore. Where's my one gone? What happened to my one? And it doesn't, this is crazy, like it feels different, but it doesn't feel worse down there in terms of sexual relations, you know. Orgasms do feel different. My pelvic floor has been all shifted around. They don't feel worse. They just feel different. And I'm just so aware that things have changed, and I have this kind of almost mental separation from my body. It's my child's play gym thing. You know, he sleeps beside me because we bed share at night, and he always presses his feet into my thighs, and it's like he's practicing standing and walking, just strengthening his legs against my thighs. And I'm just always thinking of my body as his. You know, I cuddle him at night now and not my husband. We do make time for each other when we can. If you have kids, please let me know how you felt during this phase of life and what you did to combat it, or if that poll is really true and it can take 18 months to feel sexy again, because that is not happening. Like, I want to be pregnant again, I don't know, in about maybe 15 months. So yeah, well, actually that would make sense. By the time I think just personally that I'll be ready and able for another baby lines up with when the poll says that you start to naturally feel sexy again. So maybe that's nature's way of being like, right, bitch, focus on that baby. Stop thinking about tapping that hot thing that you married. Feed the baby, change the baby, wash the baby, love the baby, cuddle the baby, play with the baby. Don't be playing with yourself. I'm joking, but again, like, take sex out of it. I don't feel like desirable in general. You know, people get into a relationship, monogamous, they get married, they still make an effort, they still want to feel and appear desirable. I think that's just human, you know. And even when I get really done up, I just don't. And I wonder, is lockdown at play here? Is the pandemic and COVID situation and everything that's happening in the world at play? Because so many of us spend so much time in our pajamas. This is one of the things I talked about on stereo with my husband. Like, we call each other different names. I am Vera Duckworth. Lockdown mammy me is Vera Duckworth. I'm just telling them about.
I have to get a nappy.
A nappy. Thomas is bathing the baby. Back to bath the baby, change the baby, wash the baby, feed the baby. Do you still think I'm sexy?
Of course.
Even when you're Vera.
Just getting a nappy.
I have tried things to boost my kind of confidence and stuff, and they have helped, but not in the sexiness department. They've made me feel a bit cuter or a bit more fresh and a bit more presentable, but not necessarily sexy. So I cut all my hair off. Well, no, my mother-in-law cut my hair off. She's a hairdresser, and yesterday she dyed my greys, which was lovely. You know, all the stuff that they say, get a new cut and colour, exercise, I do that. Wear stuff that fits you well and flatters you, and like, I do that when I can. We've nowhere to go right now. New underwear, I bought like new kind of cute sexy underwear, but again, when I was picking the underwear, I was like, is this gonna serve my breastfeeding journey? Is this going to be easy to pop breast out of for baby? Things that really don't help when it comes to the whole current situation that we're in is like not being able to get dolled up and go on a girls' night out. I feel like that always kind of re-sparked a little bit of that kind of feeling sexy. It reignites all those feelings when you'd be out on the prowl, you know, in your 20s. What I'm hoping will remedy this is just having as much me time as I can fit in and getting to know this new body of mine and developing a new relationship with it. It doesn't feel like, you know, when I lost lots of weight and I had to get to know my body again. My body in the past always felt like mine, and yeah, it just feels like it's my son's. And I can't meet up with other mothers right now with the situation. I feel quite alone in all this, and I would just like some support and just to chat with you guys down in the comments. So I just kind of wanted to address this. I have felt like a bag lady. I'm realising that that's okay. It's normal. It still makes me sad though, and I'm allowed to feel sad. You shouldn't have to repress how you feel. My feelings are valid. I'm sad. I miss feeling hot. Just don't feel hot at all. Any tips, any advice that you have, please comment it down below, and please chat to me down there about this. I will read your comments and reply. And yeah, if you'd like to live chat with me about this kind of stuff, follow me on Stereo, the app Stereo. You can make a little emoji, tune into my lives with my husband. I might do lives with friends as well, like YouTube pals, after my husband and I do our show. Our show is called When Baby Sleeps. Yeah, there's no socializing. Virtual socializing and opening up will have to do for now. I hope you're all well. I hope you feel hot and sexy. And yeah, I'm going to try and really address this whole situation in my Project Reset series. If you aren't subscribed to me, do. It's a series I'm doing to try and just work on the mental and physical health and whatnot, post-baby, post-COVID. So yeah, I guess I'll see you in an episode of Project Reset.